Hey, I'm Super. Welcome to the Monkey Farm. So, like a lot of people who were around from the 80s and onward to now, I grew up watching The Breakfast Club a lot. It's one of the only movies I can think of that is near universally loved by everyone who sees it. And with good reason. It's a film with great acting, writing, direction, editing, and for the most part, everyone in it feels real. The meat of the story, that we can probably find common ground with people who are different if we just look a little deeper than the surface, is a good message. But there is one element that never really sat well with me, and that's what I want to discuss today, and then make a very strange attempt to fix it. It's Alison, the basket case character. There are a few reasons that it's always bothered me. The climax and end of the movie is about everyone changing just a little on the inside. But Alison has to change her appearance and embrace being more normal so the cute jock will like her, basically. She has to be saved by the extrovert. And that arc only really works if you're someone on the outside judging her appearance as a negative. I speak from a lot of experience on this. I was very definitely the introverted basket case in high school, and really I still am. "He doesn't talk" was a thing literally said about me, in front of me, multiple times over several years, and is bananas insulting to hear. And as anyone who's ever known me or watched any of my videos knows, I do not have a problem talking. It's all about the setting and the company. However, I cannot count the number of extroverted people since I was about 13 who thought I was their project to fix, because clearly I couldn't be happy being so weird and quiet. But the thing is, I've always been weird. I've always liked it. And whether someone else accepts it or not is pretty tertiary as far as my concerns go. But every single time one of these people would come along, it was an attitude that, "You must be unhappy wearing so much black. You should talk more. You should smile more. You look so sad all the time." I do not exaggerate. These are all things that I've been told multiple times by people trying to help me. But here's the secret. I'm happy a lot of the time. I wear dark clothes because I think they look good. I've spent several years wearing button-down shirts and ties for work and playing the part of somewhat normal for the sake of that. But it's never been comfortable for me, and most friends I've had over the years feel pretty much the same. People on the outside would always say, "You all just want our attention, that's why you dress weird." And it's funny because every person who has expressed that to me in my life is someone whose opinion could literally not matter less to me. I dress how I dress for me because I like it. If you don't like it, good for you for having an opinion, I guess, but who cares? So it's kind of interesting to me in a movie about seeing someone's inside and not judging their outside. Everything about Alison's arc is about having judged her outside and seeing a cry for help. She didn't need to change her appearance. There was nothing wrong with it just because it was different. So here, I would like to present my alternate theory of Alison's behavior in The Breakfast Club. And I will fully admit that this is going to be ultimately a dramatic reading of bad fan fiction. And I accept that, and I know it. I know it's wildly off-tone for the film, but I had fun writing it and trying to tie together some loose threads into something that is way darker. But I maintain that these threads are all there in the movie. I just pulled them in a different direction. Many apologies to John Hughes and everyone else who put their effort into what is still one of the best high school movies that's been made. I love it. I now, however, am going to lovingly swipe at it with this bizarre coda to the ending. Shermer, Illinois, May 1985. It was a little over a year since the events of that fateful Saturday detention. The club had made a show of trying to stay friends, but reality set in eventually. They all did learn something about themselves. Brian gained some confidence, but it just put him higher up on the nerd pecking order. John and Claire were still together and pissing off her parents royally, but they knew it would never last beyond that. They still fought a lot and were constantly in that make-up-break-up game teens seem to love. But Andrew and Alison, they seemed to be the perfect couple. Andrew took a lot of crap at first for dating the weird girl, but she managed to fit in surprisingly well. Even his dad seemed to warm to her. They talked colleges and the future, prom was coming up. It was like they just belonged together. Alison came over as was usual after Andrew got done with practice for the day. They sat having a late lunch in the dining room, laughing and eating. And then it all changed, as Alison pulled a small pistol from her purse, and in a single, fluid, practiced motion, shot Andrew's father twice in the head, and then moved to aim at Andrew. The struggle that ensued was short but brutal. Alison was certainly not as strong as Andrew, but she was deceptively quick, and she hadn't just spent hours rolling around on the floor with other guys. He ducked out of the way by a fraction of an inch and avoided a round meant for his left eye, but didn't manage to dodge the following bullet going straight into his left shoulder. He grunted in pain, but was able to kick her chair out from under her. Alison's gun went flying as she unexpectedly fell. Andrew stumbled to his feet, now surging with adrenaline, and ran for the kitchen, his only hope being to escape the house and yell for help. His hope was cut short when Alison recovered quickly, regained her footing, and flung a steak knife from the table at him, catching him in the meat of his right calf. Andrew dropped in pain, sliding face first into the back door he'd hoped would be his way out, his face now dripping with blood, his nose broken. He turned on the floor to face her, in time to see Alison pick up her stray pistol and aim at him again, this time with no hope of a dodge. "Alison, why? What is—" "Shut up, Andy. I can't believe you bought into this whole My Fair Lady routine. Funny how our first day together, the most truthful thing I told you was that I'm a compulsive liar." Alison shook her head, rolling her eyes. "What? Stop. Good thing I'm being paid well for this. Almost makes up for how whiny you are." "Paid? What the hell?" She kept the gun trained on him, unblinking eye contact. "Larry Lester. I was approached by his father the day after your dumb tape stunt. You humiliated that poor kid, and his father wanted to send a message. He's compensating me very well, enough that I can make good on running away." Andrew began to cry. "But I love you. How can you—" She laughed softly. "Well, you really bought into my whole thing. You were an easy mark from the beginning. Did you really think the principal just let some kid hang out in detention because she was bored and had nothing better to do? That's not how detention works. He's getting a small cut. Why do you think he put us together to go get drinks alone, so I could get closer to you? But you never saw it. You saw me as you wanted to see me, in the simplest terms, the most convenient definitions. After this, I'll never see this town again. Just glad I can stop wearing these clothes now. Clearing wittingly helped me to get closer to you, but man, do I hate this normie shit." Andrew looked up at her, tears in his eyes, pleading, "Don't do this. I love you." Alison stared back dispassionately. "Yeah, well, you know what they say. When you grow up." She lined up her sights with his chest and pulled the trigger twice. "Your heart dies." The end. So that's it. I could probably punch up this story a little more, but I started thinking about how I could make sense of Alison's arc, and I thought, what if it's all an act and she's got some other hidden agenda and everything else just flowed out of that? And I think it's not much of a stretch to think Principal Vernon would have taken a cut from a hired killer. He's clearly got issues. He's not exactly loaded, seems to genuinely dislike teenagers, and he's already only a shade off of cartoonish supervillain as it is. Anyway, is it too much? Probably. Video over. If you liked it and have something else you'd like me to talk about, or you want to tell me how dare you in the comments for desecrating a classic, just do it in the comments below. You can also hit the like or subscribe buttons because YouTube loves algorithms. I'm Super. I'll see you next time. Probably it'll be holiday themed because it's December, and as always, thanks for coming to my meltdown.